Hey there, I'm an animated Connor Walsh, which is kind of ironic because people say I'm pretty animated in real life. Anyway, welcome to Walsh Wednesday, my new/old podcast. Let me explain. Back in high school in 2013, I was pressured by some friends to do an impromptu solo acoustic performance in my cafeteria. Believe it or not, people really took to it. And it turned into a monthly musical series I did through the rest of high school. Who said High School Musical wasn't realistic? By college, I turned Walsh Wednesday into a web series, focusing on interviews surrounding community events, charities, and local entertainment in the Hudson Valley and Capital Regions of New York. Walsh Wednesday spawned several spin-offs such as the Walsh Wednesday Concert Series, Walsh Wednesday Spotlights, and Walsh Wednesday The Reflective Series before its hiatus in 2021. After that, I spent the last 3 years working in radio, honing my craft, conducting unbelievable interviews, traveling to fascinating places, attending mind-blowing events, and meeting some of my personal heroes. Now, with the help of some awesome people I've met along the way, I'm bringing Walsh Wednesday back bigger and better than ever. Let's stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time. Welcome to Walsh Wednesday. On this week's episode, we're speaking with members of two different organizations who are making monumental impacts here in New York. Our first guests are from the Special Olympics of New York. After that, we're speaking with members of Habitat for Humanity of Greater Newburgh. Special thanks to Impact PR and Communications, Teespring, Walsh Valuation, and IABLE Board 114. Typically, this would be the part of the intro where I would say, on with the show. But I have something really important to share. It's time for the Walsh Wednesday Fund Drive. After over 3 years of hiatus, Walsh Wednesday is back, and I'm looking to make this into a legitimate business, offering high-quality production and meaningful segments that you're going to love spending some time with again and again. Of course, thank you to everyone who's been here for the first 10 episodes of the revival. I feel truly blessed to have been able to speak with the first 24 guests, and I'm excited for what's to come. Starting a business is not cheap. By becoming a donor, you're investing in grassroots community outreach, arts and entertainment, up-and-coming creators, local businesses, regional and national charities, plus important causes. To help elevate Walsh Wednesday, I kindly encourage you to become a donor on our GoFundMe page. To donate, please visit gofundme.com/f/Walsh Wednesday. Our goal is to raise $10,000. It's hefty, I know, but I have a lot of faith in this, and I hope you do too. Not to mention, if you have a business or organization that wants to advertise through Walsh Wednesday and you want to sponsor a number of episodes, you can contact Connor at cmjwentertainment.com and write Walsh Wednesday Fund Drive in the subject of the email, and I'd be happy to work with you. But wait, there's more. Both Walsh Wednesday and myself have been nominated for Hudson Valley Magazine's Best of Hudson Valley 2025 awards. Walsh Wednesday is up for Best Local Podcast, while I'm currently in the running for Best Male Vocalist, Best Singer, and Best Radio DJ. In order to vote, go to bestof.hvmag.com. It's an honor to be nominated along with so many great artists, public figures, and Hudson Valley organizations. I feel truly blessed to have gotten these nominations, so thank you to everyone out there. You currently have until 5 p.m. on April 6th to vote. Thank you to everybody who has helped elevate Walsh Wednesday this year, and thank you for your donation. Okay, now with all that being said, on with the show. Hey there, and welcome back to Walsh Wednesday. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and I'm so glad to have you guys here today, and I'm really excited to have our guests. So with us from the Special Olympics of New York, we have a couple of the athletes and also members of athlete leadership councils, also plenty more hats that we'll get into. These guys do a lot. Special Olympics of New York is doing a lot of events in the area, more than I can keep up with, and we'll try to hit up as many as we can in this episode, but I'm so excited to speak with these individuals. With us today, we have William Smith and Morgan Troutman. Morgan, how are you guys?
Good. How about you?
Doing great. Thank you. How are you, Connor?
Doing very good. Again, I'm really happy to have you guys. Really excited to be able to represent the Special Olympics. One way that I was able to get associated with the Special Olympics, my dad's a basketball referee. He's refereed a number of games, and that's how kind of noticed everything, and it's a great experience. Oh, Mercedes, you joined us. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I wasn't sure if you were joining us today. How are you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was a little behind.
It's all good. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Mercedes Vincent, Administrative Assistant of the Special Olympics of New York, just joining us now. Hello.
How's everything going?
Going well. We literally just started, so you really didn't miss anything.
Okay, gotcha.
Perfect. But yeah, just again saying thank yous.
great to have everybody on. I think one of the main things that I like to do in the beginning of the episodes, and now that we have three people, whoever wants to take this, could somebody give a brief overview of what the Special Olympics is and what its mission is in the athletic community here in New York?
So Special Olympics here in New York is actually just celebrating its 55th anniversary, believe it or not. And our mission statement has always been that we are to provide year-round training and competition for individuals with intellectual disabilities.
Very good. And I think that's great to be able to work things out. And not just the fact that you guys are able to compete in New York, you guys compete worldwide. And Will, I want to bring this up. We were talking about this before we officially got started recording. You were just competing over in Turin, Italy for the 2025 Special Olympics World Winter Games. Not just that, you brought back a medal. Do you mind showing that to us real quick?
Oh, not a problem at all.
There we go. So if I'm not mistaken, you got bronze in the floorball competition. Could you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So we actually played unified floorball out in Turin, and unified is where athletes get paired up with unified partners, and they play together alongside in a team. And the unified division had nine teams that were divided amongst in two divisions, and we were placed in Division 2, and we got the bronze medal within our division.
Oh, that's incredible. That must have been a great feeling to be able to go to Italy, represent New York, your team and everything, and to come back, bring this medal. That's fantastic. And then also, you were telling me before, this was your first time in Italy, right?
Yes, this is my first time in Italy. This was my third World Games, believe it or not. And truly, any opportunity that you have to not only represent your country, but to represent, your home, your backyard, and the best version of yourself that you can possibly be is just a truly unbelievable experience that I probably still can't tell anybody without keeping a straight face right now.
I don't blame you. That is an incredible honor and an amazing achievement. Honestly, great stuff, Will. Now, Morgan, I want to throw it over to you real quick. You are relatively new when it comes to the Athlete Leadership Council. You're on the new Regional Athlete Leadership Council here in New York, and you're telling me about a variety of different sports that you participate in. Do you want to tell us about that real quick?
Yeah, so basically, I've done all three sports basically since I started at Special Olympics. So my year that I had started was from like 2015 into 2016, and all three sports are all dedicated to me. But I do have to say, my number one sport is basketball over track and bowling. So yeah, but track, I have done Special Olympics though, track the longest. I have actually a separate team called ARC Green Vipers. Shout out to them. And I'm about to be with them. So they've been basically family for me. And I've grown basically with them throughout the whole years that I've been now with them. So it's been like the whole time. Basketball, I've done basically Special Olympics. I only for like about only two of the league, but also a shout out to Butch's Eagles now team. So I'm with them, and we just did a Somers competition. So then it got all connected with then these two lovely people, Will and Mercedes.
Beautiful.
So it's part of them, and then bowling again is with ARC Green Vipers again. Shout out. So then it's just been up and down with that too. That's only in the fall.
Gotcha.
So we only compete then in two.
Very good.
Two competitions, one in September and one in like October or November.
Awesome.
So I'm on that too. So
love to hear it. Now, of course, as we just mentioned a second ago, you're on the brand new Regional Athlete Leadership Council. What does this feel like to you? What kind of responsibility do you feel that you have now being a part of this new council?
I think it just brings me as a person as a whole that I'm getting to learn all the backgrounds of not only the people that are in it, but also it's helping me grow as a person. So like as an individual, I'm learning how leadership goes. And so henceforth it says Athlete Leadership Council. So it's helping me learn how to be not only a leader, but also to learn how leadership goals are like for an individual like myself. And I want to bring it to the table for then other youngsters so they can have the influence of how to grow in leader. I actually help mentor a lot of the players on my own team to help them then achieve their own goals and success from then of my successes as I was growing. There's all these different obstacle stages that I had done that helped me then learn and then to project my voice, but then a confidence level. That's what helped me become basically the athlete that I basically believe to be as a leader of today. And so knowing there's a council now for it, it makes me more high up that I can now speak and like also get intellect on all of their details, information too being given. And I get a heads up of what's to come for this. So.
There you go. No, that's awesome to be able to lead by example and to be able to carry things along. I think that's phenomenal. So Mercedes, let's give you a moment to speak right now. Again, you're the administrative assistant with the Special Olympics of New York. You were my main contact. You've worked with my dad, Terry Walsh, referee for the Special Olympics. So that's how we were able to get connected. Again, thank you so much for helping organize all of this. Could you tell us a little bit about your role and how you've seen the Special Olympics grow and develop here in New York?
I do a little bit of both. So I do development and I do program. It's been a whirlwind. I've been with the company now for 18 years. And what I do mostly for program is like I get your father, I get other officials to come and help with all the basketball stuff. And at the time it was floor hockey. But it's really nice to have Will come aboard. It was a very proud day when we can actually get an athlete to come and work for us. Mm-hmm. And I think we were the first region in Special Olympics to actually have somebody work full time for us. So
really,
and yep. And that, Will, how long have you been doing this now? Working with us?
It'll be 6 years next month.
Can you believe it? It's going by like this.
Congratulations on that next month. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I actually got to meet Morgan just recently. She's a wonderful athlete, and I'm glad that they actually brought her along because I think she'll do very well for the team and for everybody else for Special Olympics. So we've come a long way.
Oh, that's terrific. And I'm really excited to see all the things that are going on with the Special Olympics, whether that be out in Turin for the Winter World Games, but also here in our backyard. Again, Mercedes, as we said, you know, the connection with my dad, a lot of the local events that are here in New York, there's a lot of things. I was looking at the calendar to try to be like, oh, what should I talk about in this episode with you guys? Holy crap, there isn't enough time to talk about it all.
There isn't.
So much.
There isn't. Yeah, we have basketball. We have Marist. Marist has basketball. We have the West Point Kings coming in April, and that's a regional, track and field. We have bocce. We have bowling. We have floorball. Now it's floorball. Skiing, snowshoeing. Will, help me out. Equestrian. We have everything under the sun.
Yeah, and definitely like our big thing is that we're always looking for volunteers for the majority of our events.
Now, for anybody who wants to become a volunteer who hasn't been associated with the Special Olympics before, how can people get involved?
Well, we generally upload our calendar of events up on our website at specialolympicsnewyork.org. And usually within each event tab, it'll share that whether or not if we would need those volunteers or not. Typically at places like Marist or at West Point, we have a lot of the sports teams within the schools that would typically come to help out for that day, but that still wouldn't encourage you again to come out and be a fan in the stands. And we typically, our calendar normally goes out from now until the end of the spring, and then we kick back up again in September. So just typically keep your eyes peeled out on our website. We ask those that are under the age of 16 to be accompanied with an adult, and just be ready to work, be ready to come here with that same spirit, that same energy that any other athlete would want to come out at any of our events that day.
No, terrific. I think that's great. And of course, we're going to have the links and information in the description of this episode so you can find the event calendar and you can stay up to date with everything that's happening both in the Hudson Valley, but New York as a whole. And one thing about New York, Will and I were talking about this before we got on the mic, is that the state summer games are happening in Ithaca this June. And I think that's really impressive as well. I don't know who wants to take lead on this one, but could somebody talk to me about the state games happening this June?
I'll take a stab at it. Our state summer games are held annually at a location every 3 years, much like any other one of our regular state competitions. And this year it'll be up at Ithaca College. And it's all encompasses within our sports that are offered in through the summer. So you get basketball, track and field, volleyball, bowling, tennis, swimming. I'm sure there's probably a few more I'm missing on the top of my head, but it's pretty much the highest level of our statewide events that we offer throughout the year, and it's just a coming together moment where we see our friends from across the state within different regions to not only compete but just to kind of have that camaraderie. And that's just one of the true takeaways, at least for myself personally, anytime we meet for a statewide event.
No, I think that's fantastic. And something that you touched on, the camaraderie of it all, the community, the camaraderie, how wonderful that all is. I want to pass it back over to Morgan right now as an athlete as well. I want to hear about your perspective on the community that you've been able to form and the camaraderie that you've been able to enjoy in with these games.
Yeah, so just like Will had mentioned, it basically just brings us all together as a whole. So even if you were on the opposing team, so I just like the idea that you basically have all the groups all together and everyone's like so friendly with each other, so welcoming. It has a great introduction. Actually, I did get to experience in Ithaca twice. One was actually for track and field as a special invitation from the coach that's been in Special Olympics like forever. Her name's Kathy. Special shout out to Kathy. She actually was the one that had invited me and said, why don't you try for track and field in the Ithaca for state games? And so actually I got to experience that. So we went, I don't remember exactly the year, but I'm going to say it was like 2018 and
Okay.
It was again in June and we got to stay overnight and then we competed the next day. And actually I did get to know my fellow competitor who was also a track runner.
Mhm.
So her and I are always neck and neck. So it was nice to have a roommate of that. So that was my first trip. And then the second trip was then with my basketball team of Butch's Eagles again, shout out. We got to go as a team for the very first time. And actually that state games, we did end up in fourth. It was our first time. But we all learned how each team was at its skill level. And let me tell you, they are top-notch team groups for sure. So
I'm sure. Absolutely.
so, but again, I just like how everyone is just just being supportive, and I think I take that in also as an athlete too, not only because of support system, but it was also because friendly competitions turn into basically your best friends.
Wow.
So you get to in a way become friends with the group and
Wow.
the whole community in general. And I'm a social person that likes to go out and have fun and get to know, people. So
It sounds like the best of all the worlds.
Yeah,
Fantastic. I can't
exactly.
even say both worlds because there's multiple different echelons here that we're talking about. That's fantastic. So, Mercedes, as you said, you've been a part of the Special Olympics for a while. So you've seen a number of events probably across the state and beyond. So I just want to get your perspective about the community as well.
Well, I take care of a lot of the volunteers within the community, so I'm the one that actually brings them aboard and tries them, to get them to come out so that they can at least see what's going on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people don't realize that it's not just children, it's, everyone. But the community is awesome. We Knights of Columbus, we have all the ARCs, everybody, all the police departments. We do a lot of development stuff to raise the money for our athletes. So we do polar plunges all around New York State. So you have, like I said, police departments, ambulances. It's incredible to watch all these people come in and raise millions of dollars for our athletes. And they do it without any, it's no qualms. Let's just do it. Whether it's cold, freezing, snowing, they do it all. So it's amazing to watch, but the community is awesome.
That's really cool. And
Yeah.
something that I want to touch on that you brought up there, how people walk into it as a volunteer and they some of the misconceptions get broken, where it's like you said, it's like it's not just children, it's people of all ages. Can you elaborate more on breaking down some of the stigmas and the misconceptions through all the volunteerism and the networking in the outer community?
Yeah, we as soon as I get them on the phone, usually, especially like Girl Scout troops and Boy Scout troops, I let them know immediately that it's not just children, it's all ages, and I always try to get them to come out to see one of the events,
Mhm.
just so they can see what's going on,
Yeah.
and they are also amazed as to what goes on, even during state games. People are shocked to see that it's not just children, but that everybody gets to get along so well.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. It's remarkable to watch the community and how they open up their arms for our athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just that, but just like the top-notch competitive skill that goes into all of this. And I think it's phenomenal. Now, I'll admit, like, my experience is very limited. My experience is mainly in the basketball realm, since, that's where my dad is
Yeah,
and everything.
Yep.
But with that, the number of tournaments that I've been there for, incredible. Incredible. The way that everybody gets involved in the stands. Will, you said before, when people are at the colleges, you have a number of the sports teams at the colleges who get very involved. The tournaments are a lot of fun. So if the rest of the competitions are anything like what I've experienced in the basketball side, that's one huge party right there. That's phenomenal. I think that's great.
Well, that's the kicker, really, and especially when you're at a state games. There is a lot of time where you don't typically compete. Really, through it, you compete maybe a couple hours out of the whole weekend. The rest of your time is you're getting to know your teammates around you, your coaches, and making new friends from different teams or different regions. And that's just the beautiful part of it when you really think about it, and you don't really realize it until after it happens.
Yeah, it just happens so naturally. It's like osmosis. It's just like you're there and it forms and it happens. I think that's wonderful. Absolutely. As somebody who grew up playing sports, Morgan, I played basketball. I also did lacrosse. I did soccer. So, growing up as an athlete, I know how much all that stuff meant to me. And I wish that, I was still competing to various degrees. This is something, Mercedes, as you said, people of all age groups get to appreciate and have these lifelong connections. It's fantastic. So we're getting towards the end of this episode. I want to thank everybody again for their time on being here. I want to give everybody a moment to share any last nugget that they want to offer when it comes to the Special Olympics to our Walsh Wednesday listening audience. Let's just go in the order I see everybody on my screen. We'll start with Will. Can we start with you?
Well, simply put, if you want to know more about what we do for Pure Special Olympics, is just simply come check out one of our events, and just see why we're as passionate about what we want to bring for our fellow athletes, whether it's on the court or off the court. The beautiful part about now is that we're in such a wonderful age where we're providing our athletes more and more different opportunities to expand our horizons off the court, and having athletes like Morgan now who are just stepping into this new role within athlete leadership and finding ways so that she may have her opportunity to have her voice being heard or try something brand new that she may not have even thought of yet. And then she can pass that on to the next generation of athlete leaders who also not want to have those same opportunities, much like we've experienced, and probably even do it tenfold compared to where we're at now. And that's just the beautiful part about why we love what we do, because it's more than just sports.
Amen. Absolutely. Will, very well said. Let's pass it over to Morgan now. Morgan, what's your last little nugget you want to share?
Basically just be yourself and continue following the path of success. And believe it or not, you can learn from either your failures or successes, or you just have challenges that come behind you. Don't identify who you think you're not going to be. Just be yourself and just learn from things, and you go as you go, and the years to come, and basically you learn from other people. You can then actually know for yourself, and just follow the heart, keep continuing, and just bring it to the table when you bring it all into past competition, outside of competition, just basically just have it as a whole and just have a heartfelt all around.
So good. Offering that heart, sharing that heart, it's terrific. Just like they say in the musical Damn Yankees about baseball, you gotta have heart. That's for sure. Mercedes, let's leave it with you. What last little nugget would you like to share with our Walsh Wednesday listening audience about the Special Olympics?
If you want to know anything about the Special Olympics, go to our website. You can learn about coaching, about volunteering, and any other aspects. There's a whole bunch of range of stuff on there. It'll give them a little information. It'll give you the calendar of events. Come out and see these wonderful athletes compete, and you'll be surprised, and you'll leave with such a big heart you wouldn't believe.
I love it. Amazing. All this about heart. Yeah, you're going to have a very good heart by the end of this. I love it. Will, Morgan, Mercedes, thank you all so much for being on this episode of Walsh Wednesday. I appreciate you guys, and all the best in all the upcoming competitions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Connor, for having us. Greatly appreciated.
Yes, thank you, Connor, for having us be on your podcast.
I'm Connor.
I'm Will.
I'm Morgan.
I'm Mercedes.
And as always, we're glad we get to
Spend
Spend
some
some
time.
time.
Hey there, I'm the ad ref, and I'm calling a timeout on today's episode to tell you about our sponsors. First of all, let's throw it to Philomena in the booth. Philomena?
Thanks, Connor. I'm Philomena Finelli, CEO of Impact PR and Communications and a media maven, which is a fancy way of saying that my team and I help companies get in the news, transform leaders into thought leaders, and cut through the clutter with messaging that matters. And we do it all with a smile. Our agency was named the Woman-Owned Small Business of the Year for 2024 by the Metro New York District Office of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and we received the Gold Stevie Award for Women-Run Workplace of the Year, which is an international recognition. But it's not about the awards, it's about the personal interactions. We at Impact PR and Communications pride ourselves on crafting meaningful, results-driven public relations campaigns that are tailored to meet and exceed our clients' goals. If you want to learn more and talk to my team and I, visit prwithimpact.com and let us know that you found out about us from Walsh Wednesday. Now back to you, Ad Ref.
Thanks, Philomena. Now it's time to throw it over to a very handsome and, might I say, stylish young man. The Walsh Wednesday merch store is officially open. Now you can have my face on your body. That didn't come out right. When you visit the Walsh Wednesday merch store, you can select from hats, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. By purchasing some Walsh Wednesday merchandise, you're not only supporting this program, but you're also supporting the local arts and organizations that are featured. Just visit cmjwentertainment.com/shop-merch and use promo code REVIVAL for 20% off. All links are in the description. I decided to work with Teespring for my merch store because, well, I was already buying from them. They have comfortable and durable products, and their printing is clear and reliable. One of my favorite hoodies is from my friend's Teespring collection, Offbeat Threads. To learn how to start your own online collection, visit teespring.com. And of course, I hope you get to spend some time at the Walsh Wednesday merch store. Thanks, guys. All right, that's enough of me. Time to get the show back on the road. Hey there, and welcome back to Walsh Wednesday. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and we got a great episode lined up for you guys. We're speaking with members of the Habitat for Humanity of Greater Newburgh. And with us today, we have Steve Sossler, the chair of the Fund Development Committee. And then we also have Danielle Hovenkamp, board member, volunteer, and committee chair for the Walk for Housing, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. That's going to be Sunday, April 27th. Steve, Danielle, how are you guys?
Awesome.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Happy to have you guys over. If one of you guys could just give like a brief overview of what exactly is for anybody out there who may not know exactly what Habitat for Humanity does.
Great. I feel like I'm a new board member, so I'm learning some of this stuff as we go. But I've been kind of involved with Habitat when they first started in '99, kind of on the outside. I went to some of their events and such. But in general, we're building houses for people who can't afford them, and putting people into homes and communities, and giving people that dream, as an affordable house. And we can talk about for days about housing these days, and it's
Absolutely.
It gets more and more difficult to create affordable housing, and Habitat has done a really good job of keeping that space and overcoming those challenges.
No, that's fantastic. And honestly, the housing market is pretty ridiculous right now. My dad is a real estate appraiser. This is my childhood house that we're in. I have yet to move out, so that just shows you where we're at. Well, I did move out
lost the apartment, then I had to come back here. But that just shows you the troubles that we're in. But I think it's really important to be able to have that access to affordable housing and all. So you said you're a relatively new board member. How new? When did you join the board?
It's been November.
November, okay.
November was when I started, yeah.
That's a good month. I was born in November. Good month.
One of my favorite things about the program itself is yes, the housing and putting people into homes, but it's the financial literacy courses, the repair knowledge that they get so they can maintain. It's really creating more than just a house for somebody. It is creating that community.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people who go through the organization, whether it's one of those classes, whether it's getting the houses, they're able to meet other people with similar backgrounds as well and be able to build that community, share that same language, and be able to kind of build up together. I think that's really great. And then Danielle, you came into this as a volunteer. Now you're also on the board, and you are the committee chair for the walk that we're going to get into in a little bit.
Yeah, escalated.
Yeah, it did escalate. How quick was that escalation then? When did you join in the first place?
Well, I guess it goes back to when I started volunteering. I was an apprentice. Now I'm a journeyman electrician with Local 363.
There we go.
Proud union member. And at the beginning, we have to get community service hours. It was offered, and I did pretty much all my community service with Habitat. It's really the only residential experience that I've gotten in the program, so I'm grateful for it. And then I guess 4 years ago now, I was approached by somebody on the board asking that, we don't really have construction background on the board, maybe you'd be a good fit.
Really? There's a lot of construction background on the board. I find that ironic.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of finance people, and that's important.
I'm sure it's important. But yeah, that's interesting that there was little perspective in that case.
Right.
In the 4 years that you've been on the board, have you seen that shift at all, or are you still kind of like the token person in that?
I don't know, maybe a little bit. I know Jim Diana he's an architect, so that's really cool, and he knows so much about the logistics about all that. I mean, a lot of diversity, it's been really great.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And 4 years ago, so they got you in the middle of the pandemic to come on.
Yeah, almost, pretty much.
Jesus Christ, that must have been a wild time to be able to join the board and everything in a moment where majority of people were still stuck in their houses.
Yeah.
So that must have been an interesting time for you to get involved, right?
Yeah, it was right when it was about when it was like picking back up.
Okay.
Yeah, towards the end of the year. And so it's been great ever since.
There you go. Very good. Let's talk about the event before we get into a lot of the nitty gritty and the different programs that you guys offer. Let's talk about the event. Again, it is the Walk for Housing on Sunday, April 27th. And now, what can people expect at an event like this? You are the event chair. If you
thank you for the plug.
Absolutely.
We're really hoping to have a big turnout. In the past, we've had over 300 walkers and donors, local businesses create teams. So it's really cool to see the community out. So we're working on that right now. We try to have some things, some entertainment. The event itself is a walk through Greater Newburgh, showcasing houses we've done, ones that we're working on, and just, celebrating the community and neighborhood as we all walk together. So,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
How long is the walk route that you guys have?
So this one, because we're doing it, we're starting and ending at the Mount, which is new for us because they're partnering with us this year. It's a new route, so walkers expect something different, which is great.
Nice.
It's about 2.5 miles. We're not crossing Broadway this year.
Crossing Broadway. Probably for the best.
Yeah.
Probably for the best. That is a lot of crazy intersections.
Yeah.
But the area in general, I think that's great. Mount St. Mary, of course, great institution that we have in the area. I played lacrosse there many a time.
Cool.
A lot of great clinics that they had over there. But obviously, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the partnership and everything. So you said this year we're not crossing Broadway. How many years has this been going on now?
So this walk has actually been going on since its inception of the actual organization. So
really?
This will be 26 years that we've had the walk.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, big deal.
Wow. Just really a year younger than me.
Tremendous event. As somebody who's gone to them in the past, even prior to being involved with Habitat, we used it in my house as an event that we were going to take my son to, and we walk the streets and kind of where we live and see our people. And it's a wonderfully done event. It is. There's food. There's entertainment. There's people to stretch you before you go.
Cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders. I mean, we got They got it dialed in, and I say they because Danielle's got the
and it's all local people too. You know, it's NFA gets really involved, which I love because I went there.
No, I love that though, and that begs the question. I'm assuming both of you guys are Newburgh natives, then.
Sort of. I live in New Windsor now for the last 17 years. And my son is a Newburgh district kid, so we're pretty deeply involved in the community as much as we can.
Yeah, New Windsor, it's right there. It's right next to it. My dad grew up in Cornwall and New Windsor, so that's where he's all from. And you said you went to NFA.
Yeah,
so I'm
born and raised.
Born and raised. So this means a lot to you guys to be able to see the Newburgh community able to come out and to be able to grow and to be able to build. And I think that's great. So you said already that a number of organizations can create teams for this. If an organization wants to create a team, or individuals want to create a team, or they want to join a team, what's the best way that people can get involved like that?
So there is a QR code on our flyers and on the website that'll bring you right to the website. So I definitely, and it should be pretty easy to follow. I think we're going to upload a how-to and post that on the website soon.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned for that. We really love the participation. So
fantastic. And of course, all links and information will be in the description of this episode, so you won't have to go very far. It's not going to be a 2.5 mile walk like this is going to be. Keep it nice and easy for you. No, I think that's fantastic. So we talked about what's a part of it, talk about the how, let's talk about the why. Why are we doing this event? How is this event impacting Habitat for Humanity and the greater Newburgh area in general? Whoever wants to pick up on that.
Yeah, I think, look, in the nonprofit world, which I have some experience in, is vital right now. I mean, we are building houses for a cost that our mortgages don't go for. So there's a gap to fill with each and every home that we build. And these are the types of things where we can get new people involved with Habitat, whether it's financially, whether it's volunteering, to help us kind of bridge that gap on each of these houses that we build. So right there, and then the communities that we build inside the city are amazing. And it is creating safe space for people, quality home, and just a great experience for them.
No, absolutely. Danielle.
Generational wealth. That's huge. But this walk in particular is to, showcase again the neighborhoods that, are around us and the houses that we're adding to the beautiful neighborhood. Yeah. It is gorgeous. I love Newburgh.
It is a gorgeous area.
Great history for sure.
Yeah.
Very historic area. I love going over there. I love seeing what's being done to help further the community. As I said, my dad, who's working upstairs right now, he grew up Cornwall, New Windsor, worked in Newburgh for many years. So I would, go to his office all the time. And just the way I've been able to see Newburgh kind of blossom in the last couple of decades. And see the changes, ebbs and flows over the years, but there's a lot of good, positive things that are happening, and especially because of organizations like you guys. And I think that's incredible. And again, the partner, Mount St. Mary's College, walk us through this partnership, either one of you guys. I don't know who knows more about
that's it. That's kind of my territory. I actually worked at the Mount for a long time.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Is that where did you make the transition from the Mount over to Habitat, or
no? So I work in business development for a construction management company now.
Oh, beautiful.
MGI.
For all
this.
Yep.
So we are. So I left the Mount for MGI and then got involved with Habitat after the fact.
Cool.
Still pretty entrenched at the Mount on a couple of boards and committees over there, and they have partnered with the Mount. Habitat and the Mount have partnered in Mount St. Mary College has donated a couple of properties for new builds.
Wow.
So we're that's kind of all based around there. It's right at the bottom end of campus there. Mm-hmm. So we'll build those homes there. And that kind of created this opportunity that we had here for the walk to partner with another local nonprofit and kind of just, again, showcasing Newburgh and showcasing our community.
Yeah, I would say Mount St. Mary's is probably one of the biggest gems in the area. It's a gorgeous campus. They do a lot for the community, and the fact that they're able to have the partnership, bring it all together, it just seems seamless. It just seems right. So I'm glad that that's working out like that. And being the fact that a lot of the walk is going through Mount St. Mary's, do you have anything that you want to add on, Danielle, about just what it's been like to work with them for this specific event?
Oh, well, they've been awesome to work with, very accommodating, making this very easy for us. I'm excited about the field that we're going to have the event on. That's going to be really cool. We are using public bathrooms this year, so no porta-johns, which is really cool.
Yes.
It's awesome. And
that's an upgrade.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, so they have been great to work with. So I don't think, there's going to be any issues that day.
No, amazing.
Yeah.
So one thing that we've been talking about is the community aspect of all of this, and the way that you guys have been involved in various ways over the years, how it's kind of built up, how it's kind of changed. I want to know about you guys' why. You know, over the last few years, I'm sure that you guys have had some really incredible and impactful stories working with people. And I'm sure there are plenty, but what are some of the first things that come to your mind that has stuck out from working with Habitat for Humanity, for working with your neighbors, and just feeling good, benefiting this community?
As soon as I started volunteering,
Mhm.
I seen so many people that, just loved it, and it really is contagious.
Mhm.
It feels so good. And I do kind of feel like obligated as a young person too,
Interesting.
to give back. There's so many retired people that are literally building these houses. They'll come almost every day whenever it's available, which is so cool. It's so
Yeah.
inspiring. And I just feel like I'm a member of this community, and I think that, young people should give back. And I hope in the future more do.
Are you seeing enough numbers in the younger generations coming out to help?
I think it can improve.
Gotcha. That's
Definitely.
fair.
I think volunteer efforts all together. I think we should be seeing a lot more people
Yeah.
on build days.
I agree. I think that's very interesting. And it was something that I noticed when I was in college. My grade and the grade below me, I feel like we're like the last 2 years that were like really, really involved, not just on campus, but in the community. And then it started dying down a little bit. And then the pandemic happened. And then there was even less of that. So I feel like there's a whole number of things that can attribute to that, unfortunately. I think the pandemic definitely changed a lot of the culture and the environment. But then also at the same time, I'm sure there are other social aspects that weigh into that. What would you say to somebody to try to encourage them to get involved more, as somebody who is millennial, Gen Z, or heck, the older Gen Alphas who would be old enough to use these tools?
Yeah. I mean, if you feel called to and you have the time, just try it.
Yeah.
Go with some friends, just make a day of it. It feels so good.
Yeah.
It really does. And you see the impact, So I was going to say, like, at the coffee breaks.
Yes, we'll get into it shortly. Absolutely. And I think that's great. One of the things that I wanted to just add on to that about, we had this event at the College of St. Rose, Reach Out St. Rose, went all around the Capital District. And the whole idea was you went with friends to go do something outside of your comfort zone and able to help out. And that just feels like the same kind of vibe and essence that you guys have. Reach Out St. Rose was just a one weekend event. You guys are working all year round. So Steve, we've been hearing from Danielle about getting younger people involved, but based on what you've seen, and you said you have your kids and everything, what have you seen and what are you guys doing to try to get some younger generations in?
So in my experience in the nonprofit world, like I think we said earlier, I don't have the money. That we can all come up with the excuses why we don't do it.
Yeah.
But there are simple ways, and I mean simple: $5 a month, $10 a month.
Yeah.
These little things to help be part of an organization that really go a long way. If you look at all the numbers in the world, like those $5 donors become $100 donors, who become $1,000 donors over time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways out there. We've done kind of like retreats or this kind of setting about plan giving. There's different ways to make impacts, and we can always help. If somebody wants to help, we can find their space and find what really works for them.
No.
And I think that is a message to all of our young people, to our kids, to get involved early in your life, to make it part of what you do. And I think it's super important, and just creates really great things in our communities.
No, I agree. I was talking with somebody from the American Cancer Society recently, and I think he put it very succinctly. He was saying how we all have different seasons in life, and in each season of life, we have more or less to give in one bucket over another. And just because one bucket might be more or one bucket might be less doesn't mean that you can't contribute in some way. And I think it's a beautiful way of looking at it, and it seems like you guys have the same, if not similar, mindset in regards to that.
Yeah, for sure. And there's one of my favorite things is when local businesses bring their teams in for a day.
Yeah.
And I think that would, as for a business owner, like a nice teamwork, team building type of day, but also it gives back, and it's just a really nice way. So bring your companies down. We'll get some work for you.
I love that. No, that's a good way of getting it all done. I'm a company of one, so don't put too much on me right
Bring your
away.
whole crew down.
Yeah, whole crew. Here we go. Just these two guys. No, fantastic. So, Steve, I want to hear from you now about your why or any of like the things that have hit you while you've been working with Habitat.
Yeah, I think my story is pretty easy. I was approached at some point to be a part of last year's gala committee.
Okay.
And started going to the regular meetings and just was almost inspired by the energy.
Nice.
This is after hours for a lot of people. This is even the staff, like they've worked their day already and they're still there at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night some days. And just the positive energy, like there's nothing like surrounding your world with people with positive attitude. I think it just hit me. And then my favorite story to tell is I walked in for my very first meeting. I looked on the wall where they have all the families that have received houses.
Okay.
And it was somebody I knew from 20 years ago, somebody I worked with in the construction world a long, long time ago. And it was like, and like, it just hit me. It was like, all right, I'm in the right place.
That really hit close to home. I'm sure.
And it was, it is, like I said, just the positive energy staff creates and our active board, it's a great way to give back. When we talk about like bringing the youth in, it is just, it's energizing and it's tricky because we just went through all the reasons why the younger people aren't getting into this world. But it's also, I think it can be scary. I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of money. Those are things that you don't need to be in Habitat. You can give what you can give, whether it's time, sweat equity, whatever the thing is.
Sweat equity. I like that. I like that term.
And straight to Danielle's point is it feels good. There's, they recently Habitat did a fashion show that was an attraction for some younger.
Really, that sounds
folks,
awesome.
It was really cool.
Amazingly successful in its first year. And
that's so cool.
And it's tricky to navigate. Who are we speaking to? Because we want to speak to all ages and all demographics. And so we're trying to be diverse in our events that attract these people, and I think it's working.
Shout out to Nyla. She's our volunteer coordinator, and she came up with this fashion show this year, and it was a really big success. It was awesome.
She did a tremendous job.
Honestly, Newburgh just seems like one of the perfect places to be able to do something like that, actually, because the culture in the city and the town and be able to offer that, I think that's phenomenal. So cool. And again, what you guys are really honing in on are the interpersonal experiences, really able to actually see each other, meet with each other, see the difference that's being made. And I think, not much better than simply getting a cup of coffee together. And we both have an affinity for Wednesdays, Walsh Wednesday, but you guys have your coffee breaks, the in-person coffee breaks on Wednesdays. I just thought it was like interesting because I'm looking at the calendar and that's like the main thing on the calendar I see each Wednesday. It's like, all right, I'm going to have to ask about this. It's like, why is something just like a coffee break on the calendar like this? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So tell me about the significance about all this. Whoever wants to start.
Do you mind? So the coffee break, I can't say that I've been to a Wednesday one because I'm working. They do have a coffee break, I believe, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Make sure that the Friday and Saturday get added on.
It's on the calendar.
Because only the Wednesdays was there.
Okay, yeah. I believe Wednesday is the largest build day with most participation. Shout out to the volunteer committee. Those ladies, they offer a nice big spread.
Nice.
But I'm definitely familiar with the Saturday coffee break because I'll have apprentices sometimes when we're roughing in a house. We'll go and get some food and, there's, a lovely prayer. And then literally everybody gets shouted out and applauded for. And it's just such a cool like hour that, we can just have a meal together and just appreciate each other and celebrate this organization and what it's done.
Yeah, it feels like everybody's seen.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Really seen and appreciated over there.
That's what it's like.
Wow, that's a lot of fun. I haven't even shown up there, but I just felt like warm and fuzzy inside when you were telling about it.
Well, we'll have to have you sometime.
I'd love to come on through. I would love to see.
Put your boots on.
I right in the closet. I'll grab them.
Okay.
Steve, anything you want to add on to that?
No, it's just it's a good time. I feel like we all get so busy and caught up in whether it's at work or at home, we get caught up. We don't really sit and kind of connect with people, and I think that in itself is extremely valuable. And little things like you have everybody in one place. If there's a message that needs to be sent, if there's information coming on our next home. Like everybody's kind of there, and we can kind of get that message out in person, where it's not just an email. Again, it's the connection. Like it's a really good space to connect with peers, and in the home space for sure.
No, I'm with you there. I think there needs to be a greater movement for, the in-person, the connective thing. Yes, I know it's ironic. This is a podcast and everything. But, the one thing that I really love about doing this podcast is, obviously everybody who's listening right now, they're listening wherever they are, but it takes real people coming in, like you guys coming in, having this conversation with me. I'm learning every single time. Like when I was working at the radio station to now starting my own company, it's like the wealth of knowledge and network I'm creating alone is amazing. And then being able to pass that on to the community, I feel is even more amazing. So obviously with Habitat for Humanity, doing so many good things about helping people out, helping with the housing market, helping people get that affordable housing. But unfortunately, when it comes with that, it's something that, at least in my mind, I don't see as political. But a lot of people make it political. A lot of people make some kind of agenda. And with that, unfortunately, there are a lot of really ugly misconceptions that can come around this. So let's try to break that down. I know there's some stigmas that we can break here today. So either one of you, Danielle, you seem ready for this. Do you want to talk about some of the misconceptions that comes around Habitat for Humanity?
Yeah. So we want to be really clear. We say that it's a hand up and not a handout. These homeowners, they're putting in sweat equity. They're attending financial literacy classes. They're becoming homeowners that are able to take care of their house, and they work really hard, especially in the community. Once you're in it, you're in it. Yeah. You're a part of the family. They do have a mortgage.
It's not like this is something free. It's not like this is just somebody taking advantage of a system.
Right.
It's not a handout, it's a hand up. I think that's great. Steve, you look like you had something to add to that.
We want, like, we are putting the families through, we are investing in the families as well. We want them to stay in the house.
Yeah.
We don't want our homeowners to lose their house. So we are putting them through all the steps they need to know to maintain and to keep current and all these great things, so they stay there.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of this.
Yep.
It is not a free house. They are putting their time, sweat and tears and money into it also.
And of course, making a house a home in the end by that. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, if anybody is interested in the program, about the application process, really about anything Habitat related, definitely reach out. You can go on the website or you can give us a call.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. And again, that phone number and the links and information in the description. So we'll have that available for you guys. So I think that kind of like brings us towards the end here. Just the last little nuggets that we want to share with the community. We've been talking about volunteering. We've been talking about how to get involved and what it means to be involved with your community. Do you guys have any last little nuggets based on your experience with Habitat you want to share with the audience? I know I'm used to dealing with one at a time. Whoever wants to jump in,
well,
take it.
I do want to say, because I don't think we mentioned it, in 26 years, we've built and sold 111 houses, which I think is pretty incredible. That's 111 families that are, building that generational wealth and, having a safe place to live and go to school. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. I think the hours are about 35,000 volunteer hours every year. So I just want to keep that momentum up and come volunteer.
No, that's honestly fantastic. And when you think about that, you said 111 houses, right?
And counting.
That is multiple neighborhoods right there. Mm-hmm. Think about the neighborhood that you live in. And, most neighborhoods, maybe like, it might feel like a lot, but like maybe like 20, 30 homes in a neighborhood. So that's several neighborhoods right there that you're talking about. Amazing. Amazing. Steve, anything you want to add?
Yeah, and to add on to that, we have now expanded outside the city of Newburgh, which is a little new territory for us, which is great. And just all the different types of builds that I get really interested in. It's like there's the faith builds, there's talk about industry builds coming. Like there's just different ways to tie different parts of the community, all for this great cause, but also, to help us as individuals kind of, build our network and our connections. It's a very rewarding organization, doing some really wonderful things.
Beautiful, beautiful. And again, we already talked about the walk and how people can register and get in on that. But those who want to learn about Habitat for Humanity of Greater Newburgh even further, generally, where should people go?
I think directly to our website.
On social media too.
Yep.
I don't have Facebook, but I know that all the
There
events
is
are listed on the
Facebook.
Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep an eye out on the events. I'm wearing my Women
Yep.
Build shirt from last year. It was a great week of building, and this year we're gonna have it in May. So stay
Okay.
tuned.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
tell all the ladies.
All right, you know what? You've already brought it up. Before we wrap up, I know like editing is going to be fun. So tell us about that. Tell us about the Women Build. It's going to be in May, not in March. So we still have time for it and everything. What's that like then? What's the event like?
Well, so I was actually voluntold to lead a project. We did get quite a few volunteers. Anyone can participate. It's not just open to the ladies, but it's encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
It's Internationals Women Build Week, I believe, this week or last week.
Well, that would make sense for International Women's Day.
Exactly. So it's great that they do that. I don't know the stats, but it's a very small percentage of women, in construction and, behind the scenes. So, we really encourage participation because, anybody can use tools.
Oh, absolutely.
Or really kick ass.
Hell yeah. So with being pushed out to May, I'm assuming probably just nicer weather and hoping to get more people.
Yeah. I think we wanted to be more prepared and have the projects ready. I'll definitely be on site then.
Very good.
So I hope to see everybody there.
No, fantastic. And that's a whole week. That's not just like one day, right?
Yeah, we'll see. There's going to be
We'll
a
see.
committee on that, I'm sure. We'll work out the details.
Beautiful. That's not till May. This
Yeah.
comes out in April. We'll keep you.
Yeah, see you in April. I want everyone there.
Exactly. So make sure that you come out for the event in April. That's, again, Sunday, April 27th. We'll have all the links and information in the description of this episode. Steve, Danielle, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much, Connor.
I'm Connor.
I'm Steve.
I'm Danielle.
And as always, we're glad we get to
Spend some time.
And that's a wrap on this week's episode. Special thanks to our guests this week from the Special Olympics of New York and Habitat for Humanity of Greater Newburgh. And of course, big thank you to Impact PR and Communications, Teespring, Walsh Valuation, and IABO Board 114. Last but certainly not least, we got to give a big shout out to our Patreon member, Jenna Hess. But you know what? She's getting a little lonely. So how about you keep her company on the Walsh Wednesday Patreon? You can support this channel by becoming a Patreon member with memberships as low as $5 a month. With that, you can get behind-the-scenes content, your name featured in the credits of each episode, and access to the Spend Some Time chat. You can find that and more by scanning the QR code on your screen or by going to the links in the description. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and I'm glad we get to spend some time.